Let's flip the calendar to Sunday. The closer, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. NWSL before dark.
Sure.
We're not even teetering anywhere near dark. It's gonna be a nice game time. Maybe a little. I don't know if it'll be sunset. Yeah, it'll be roughly sunset. Well, what are we in April? East Coast. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice. It'll be a nice hue on the screen here when Gotham FC hosts Racing Louisville.
There we go.
Louisville, another team that in our past lives, we like to talk about those teams that just kind of catch your eye. Just in passing, you take a second look at. Louisville's a fun team. Still unbeaten. Nice win over Utah, 5-1. Soft schedule, though, so far for Racing. They played Orlando, at Houston, at Portland, San Diego on the schedule, and home against Utah. Going to Gotham, this will be a pretty big test. Anything specific you're going to be looking for when the undefeated Racing Louisville head to our old stomping grounds?
I think we just got to say, Adi Borges is still working her way back into game shape.
Mm-hmm.
She played 11 minutes 2 weeks ago versus San Diego, and she played 54 minutes last week against Utah. So we talked about with Kansas City how, Debinha has really yet to play for them. Adding Borges when she's feeling back to full strength with Kanu and DeMello, now we're really cooking with something. I'll fully admit, I was a little skeptical of Louisville, and I thought, okay, we're getting a lot of draws. They're a tough, gritty team. There comes a point where you need to start really pulling results of actual victories instead of just draws. They've won me over. This is an awesome squad that controls the ball, controls the pace of the match, really, kind of dictates the terms. And now you're going to add Borges to that mix. I think they're super dangerous, and I think Gotham is going to have to play not a good game to get a win. I think they'll have to play a great game to get a win, and they'll have to play very well to even force a draw.
Wow. Yes, it sounds like you're pretty low on Gotham, which I think with good reason. They've looked very, very shaky. One quick thing before we jump off of Racing, though. I mentioned that stat, that XG plus XAG, which is expected goals plus expected assisted goals, again, per 90. This is courtesy of our friends at FB Ref. I mentioned those players that showed up in the top 10. You got your Chewingas, you got your Bias, you got your Trinity Rodmans. Louisville has 3 players in the top 10 of that stat.
Come on.
Talk about a shocker. 3 of the top 10. Savannah DeMello, she's 8th. First round pick in the 2024 NWSL draft, Raylan Turner, she's 10th. And their second round pick, Emma Sears, out of the Ohio State University, 3rd in the entire league behind only the aforementioned Trinity Rodman and the also aforementioned Summer Yates of my Orlando Pride. Let's fucking go. But how about that? Racing Louisville, 3 players on top of the players that you mentioned, Kanu and some of the others. So they're starting to put it together here with regard to, it's not a bullshit team personnel-wise.
No way.
And I think they've got the personnel, and now they're starting to stack up some of these results. I think I agree with you. I think Gotham's going to have to really bring it to get a result out of this one.
And you were on it early, man, when I had said, I kind of jokingly said last week, I don't love this strategy of them drawing every match. But you were right on it to say, well, you know what? They're at least drawing every match, which is a real thing. They're clawing out a result every single time they're on the field. And they always have that looming threat of Taylor Flint. Shout out to my lovely wife, Jennifer, and hashtag tall girl bias, tall girl energy, as she likes to say.
TGB, TGE.
Sure. Exactly. Korniak, you have to be terrified, or pardon me, sorry. Called her Korniak. Taylor Flint. You always have to be afraid that Taylor Flint is going to score a header in the 85th minute of a match, and now you're looking up at the scoreboard and you got no time to get a winner. So I think they're excellent. I now look forward to watching them play, so it's cool to see them play this standalone Sunday match against Gotham, against, obviously the title holders. So we get to see them. Not prime time, as you mentioned. This is NWSL before dark, NWSL afternoon, if you will. But now we get to see them play stand alone against Gotham, and we get to see how they show up going up to Jersey to play.
Yeah, they're a super fun team. This will be a fun one on Sunday. Gotham, got to talk about him.
Sure.
I mean, we. Speaking of freezing cold takes, let's unpat ourselves on the back a little bit, because
Yes.
I think when we saw the personnel that this team was acquiring in the offseason, I think it might have been said maybe by your boy, how's anybody going to compete with this team? Turns out pretty easily.
Sure.
They have not looked good. I mean, what do we do? Is this sort of a slow start, injury related? We've talked about that, chemistry related, but even still, they're just not playing good football.
It's not aesthetically pleasing. I will say, in the Gotham matches that I've observed, I haven't particularly enjoyed watching them. Rose Lavelle not playing is rough. You would like her to play. And we had some people jump in the comments. And, it's not an unfair comment on our video about the U.S. women's national team roster of people saying, Lavelle's availability can be an issue, which is fair. I mean, she played for not my Seattle Reign, but the Seattle Reign. And I can understand that. So you expect some of that with Lavelle, but it's taken her a little while to come back from this injury. So that's rough, though, because she is a superlative player. And so you expect to have her holding down your midfield. And then, we talked about the absolutely fucking brutal, awful, terrible, sucky injury to Midge Purse. So now you have these two great players, and you have to take them out of your lineup, and you have to adjust. But the flip side of that is maybe the skeptic, or maybe the person who's not a fan of the Bats, will say, okay, that's fine. Cry me a river. You still got Esther. You still got Jenna Neiswanger. You still have Lynn Williams. You have several good players out there. Crystal Dunn, Kelly O'Hara. You got a lot of vets and a lot of experience out there. They're just not connecting. And let me ask you this question. Sometimes an NBA team wins the offseason. Sometimes an NFL team wins the offseason. And then they just don't connect right away. Is that kind of what we're seeing with this squad?
I mean, when you brought up the Rose Lavelle situation, my first thought was, yep, not having Rose Lavelle out there hurts.
It's brutal.
But it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
Not having Midge Purse out there hurts. Bigger than that. I mean, there's no way to really know, because this team looks so bad. It's like,
it's not fun.
4 matches, 2 goals, and they just don't look good. They don't look threatening. I actually feel like it's going to get a little worse for them before it gets better. And, chemistry is a real thing, and I think that takes a little bit of time to develop. But the other kind of key thing about chemistry, we were talking about it a little bit pre-show as well with my Miami Heat, is there is a hierarchy. Right?
Yep.
There are players who should be getting the ball, and there are players who should be on the ball a little bit less, and I think if it's not understood how that should be flowing, and sometimes the younger players, I'm thinking about a Neiswanger here, maybe making her more of a focal point in the offense in lieu of maybe some of the vets,
Sure.
I think maybe there's a lot of vet service, and it's okay, we've got these, players that have been there, and they've carried us there, and it's kind of giving Kobe that, whatever, $80 or $90 million contract when he's late 30s. RIP to the legend.
RIP to the Mamba. I'm cracking another one in respect, in deference to the Mamba.
Love it, perfect timing. But I think they've got to kind of reshuffle, maybe who the focal points are, more in line with basically who's producing.
Let me float this. That's a really interesting viewpoint. Do you play Neiswanger in the Olga role that she has for Real Madrid, where it's you're our left back, but you're low key the focal point of our offense also? I
mean, well, why not at this point?
Yeah.
She's good for it. She had that monster goal she believes in. She's happy to kind of take the ball up the field. She's in that category for me, the Olga, Selma Basha, Karshawi category, where it's I trust Neiswanger to initiate, drive the ball forward, be able to keep possession, and be able to track back if needed. And to be honest, defensively, that's not really their issue. I think they've only given up 4 or 5 this season. Let me just fact check that real quick. Yeah, XG allowed 5.2, and they've given up. Yeah, they've only given up 4 goals. Yeah. So defensively, I mean, that's not where your issue is. I think offensively, they're zero threat. They're just zero threat.
Yeah.
And Neiswanger is an up-and-coming player. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just kind of throwing shit out here, but I do know for sure they got to do something different. They need a different approach.
That is fair.
I'm pretty positive on that. That might not be the answer, but it might be time to kind of switch it up and change that key focal point. So we'll see. Good opportunity for that this weekend.
Obviously, this entire podcast, this entire show is just a mere smokescreen for Dino and I to get positions in a professional football club. So hear us out now, Juan Carlos Amaros, head coach, manager of the year for Gotham FC last season. Do something different. Try something else. So that is the official ITC suggestion. But no, you're right, man. I mean, because it's not working, and so you got to do something. So yeah, I love the idea. That is some cool shit though, like getting Niswanger more involved, and like you kind of have to at that point you have to tell Tierna Davidson, you kind of have to tell Crystal Dunn. I actually wouldn't hate getting Crystal Dunn. You could be like, hey, you could be our midfielder. You could play defender at times. Maybe if nothing is working up top, maybe just put fucking Crystal Dunn at right wing. She can score. She's a great scorer. So I'm gonna guess Juan Carlos has probably considered some of these things. Maybe we don't have completely new ideas for him. But give us a jingle, Juan Carlos. Sound off in the comments. Let us know. We're easy to find. If you want to hire us to the staff, me and Dino's a Brooklyn guy. I lived in Manhattan. Shout out Roosevelt Island. I lived there for a while. We can move back. We can figure this out. We'll add us to the staff. We'll help you get this shit back on track.
Yeah, Crown Heights, hop on the 2. Let's connect to the path. I'll be in there 60, 75 minutes. No problem.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can actually see them. Again, we're coaching on the fly here, so we're flipping the resume to page 2 here. I could kind of see them taking a page out of the Chelsea book from last weekend, where it's like, all right, Tierna Davidson, Niswanger, Crystal Dunn. If you get the ball, go forward with it, and we'll rotate behind you. You've got dangerous players up there, but let's pick up the pace a little bit. Let's give those talented players an opportunity to turn defense into offense more quickly.
I love it.
Because the slow buildup, just chopping wood takes 30, 45 seconds to work the ball up the field. That shit ain't working.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk this week about maybe the new look offenses in the NWSL with regard to go, 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 whether it's Bay FC, you talked about them kind of hitting their stride, Orlando, Vonda, Marta, Adriana, Casey Current, obviously you already know what time it is. It's almost like the league is evolving so quickly that last season is just out of style. It's gone. We need something new every season, and it could swing back the other way. And who knows? Maybe my Houston Dash.
Yes, let's
investing
go. You're in.
Investing in the defense. Now that's what do we like to talk about? The adjustment to the adjustment. Maybe they're ready for 2025, and they're starting from the defensive side of the ball. The Baltimore Ravens of the NWSL.
Let's go. I mean, they could end up being the Houston Texans of the damn NWSL. You got Tarsiane. Tarsiane, I mean, I understand she's a defender. Maybe she's your CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is young. Tarsiane is only 20. I like this. I mean, and any excuse for us to go to Houston. I've been there. I've actually, in a weird twist, the only time I have ever seen my favorite football club, Manchester City Football Club, play is in the city of Houston. And I fucking enjoyed the hell out of my time down there. So anytime we can go down there, we can listen to some Slim Thug. We can listen to some Paul Wall, Mike Jones. Let's fucking go. Any excuse.
Travis Scott.
Yeah, sure.
A little Beyonce. We'll mix it up.
I mean, Bun B, rest in peace to the legend Pimp C, friend of the working man, friend of unions, Pimp C. Shout out to him. Yeah. Any excuse we can have to Houston. If we want to start adopting Houston, now that I talk this out more, I'm right in there with you.
Let's go.
Okay.
I got some family out in Katy. It's one of the burbs, one of the Houston burbs. But we got a place to crash if needed.
I'm in.
You already know that we're heavy J Prince supporters, so
obviously,
I feel like we're certified, at least halfway certified.
I hope so. Definitely with him. So yeah, obviously nothing but love and respect to J Prince, the man down in Houston. So yeah, we can hit up Trill Burgers. We can do all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's a beautiful place with amazing culture. The street art is wonderful. I just enjoyed the hell out of my time down there in Houston. And then I watched City play Club America down there from Liga MX. Hell of a football game. And the culture, I mean, the Club America fans in Houston were fucking outrageous in Houston Texans in their stadium. It was super rad to see. Luckily, I was sitting next to a guy wearing a Kevin De Bruyne Belgium jersey. And he was a native Spanish speaker, and he was just talking cash shit to all the Club America fans on behalf of us as the city fans. I realize I'm on a tangent, but like I just Houston A+ certified, food is A+. I fucking loved everything about there. So let's go Dash. You've talked me into this. I realize this is late in the podcast for me to be in. I'm way in.
Let's go. Shout out to KDB Belgian Jersey Spanish speaking guy in Houston, just holding it down.
That's my guy.
All right, man. Anything else you want to hit before we get out of here?
I think we covered the entire league. We're in for a hell of a week. Man, it's just like you mention it every time that we talk about the league. You look at the schedule and then you text me and go, just a ton of fucking bangers on the schedule this week. Like,
oh yeah,
this is an NFL, and I know me and you, we've pretty much walked away from the NFL, but like the reason people started to enjoy that was because they liked a lot of the matchups, and I feel like we are just firmly entrenched in this. Like such a high percentage of the matchups are just filled with intrigue and excitement. I just look forward to every single week in this league.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted this a couple weeks ago. This is what the NFL weekends used to feel like.
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right, like these are big weekends with big games.
Yep.
And, a 26-game season, so much talent, so much parity. Anybody could beat anybody. Every team's got really good players.
Yep.
To very kind of varying degrees. The depth is, I think, what separates these teams. But every single week, what do we get? 3, 4, 5 matches? There's like, God, like must watch. And then you end up, kind of like dipping your toe into all 7 when it's all said and done. I think we're just going to get another banger of a weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I am very much looking forward to digesting all of that and then talking to you about it next week.
For sure. And a couple matches in Europe that, your boys are going to be locked in on as well. So that kind of ups our responsibility with regard to what we've got to keep an eye on this weekend. We will be back to cover those 2 Champions League semifinal matchups early next week. So we'll be excited about that. All right, man, I think we did it. This has been another episode of Into the Channel. Thank you for watching, listening, liking, subscribing, chiming in, just plain hanging out with your boys. We appreciate everyone who rocks with us. And remember, like if you like the video, and subscribe or follow Into the Channel, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you like to watch or listen at ITC_pod on X. And a big thank you as well to my co-host, Mr. Grand Angle. I'm going to check the clock here. We're right about the 90+ minute mark. We might be in the stoppage time, but my guy's never afraid to go all 90+. He's here. He's ready for it. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to recapping this next week of matches with you. I mean, obviously, we got the UWCL, UEFA Women's Champions League coming up. I mean, no matter what, it's always thank you to the people who enjoy the program, who leave comments. You guys are teaching us. I saw some just incredible insight in a lot of the YouTube comments. People who are watching the games, bro, and like helping us with our breakdowns, giving us some historical insight, giving us real-time insight into how the matches played out. We very much appreciate you guys. So whether I'm in Seattle and Dino's in Orlando, or whether we're in Houston still tipping, shout out to the people's champ Paul Wall. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you next week.